Hey everyone, it's Jason. Welcome to another unboxing for Marvel Champions, the card game. This is a brand new scenario pack for the Hood. So the previous scenario packs we've had were like Green Goblin. So you had basically two different versions of Green Goblin, either Norman Osborn version, which is like a business, where you flip back and forth between him and the Goblin, and then just like a straight up Goblin version. We had the Wrecking Crew. We had to fight all four members of the Wrecking Crew at the same time. And then we had the King the Conqueror set, which had a unique thing where you had to actually split up into four different little mini games and fight four different versions of King. So each one's had their own interesting little gimmicks, which all the different, usually villains do. So what's interesting about the Hood is his deck is fairly straightforward. There's not a big quote-unquote gimmick to it. Except for the fact that in this set, you get 9 different new scenarios to play as. So, you're going to get his deck of cards, and then you're going to get a bunch of expansions, or little scenarios you can add in there. So you can mix and match them, and you play with X number. You play with so many in this set, but you can add, but the idea is supposed to be that you can add a bunch of ones from other ones to work with his, or you can spread these out to other things, because they're not really themed with him. Like the Green Goblin, had like an extra scenario in there, but it was a Goblin themed scenario. The King one had temporal characters, which are really kind of themed towards him. These are other like little criminal organizations or bad guys that you can fight, so they work really well to mix and matching out. And that's sort of the idea of the Hood. He's a gangster that has a hood that gives him powers from Dormammu. He sort of becomes a crime boss. He gathers all these different villains together, makes a big giant, like, hey, we can work together, help each other out, type of thing. So that's kind of what this is based off of. There's also 2 other expansion or scenarios in here. There's excuse me, Standard 2 and Expert 2, which technically makes for 11 scenarios. But those 2 are, you have to either rotate them out. So either you play Standard 1 or Standard 2 or Expert 1 or Expert 2. So that's why they don't really count them. But basically they're just more difficult versions of them. But if you still want to play Standard, but you want a little bit more challenge, you can play Standard 2. Here we have some keywords. So we have Hinder X. When a card with Hinder X is revealed, place X threat card on that card. Incite X. When a card with Incite X is revealed, place X threat on the main scheme. Permanent stays in play. Setup card begins the game in play. Brand new keyword for this set is Steady. A character with Steady keyword can have 1 additional stun status and 1 additional confused card. That character is not stunned or confused unless they have two of the card on there. After that character's activation is replaced by a status effect card, remove all status cards of that type from the character. So basically it's saying they need to have 2 confused or 2 stunned to actually be affected by it. But then when their turn activates, it removes all of them. So it doesn't remove 1 at a time. But it takes a little bit longer to beef them up. So if they get confused or stunned and then they activate till it goes away, they all go away. Then we also have Villainous. When a minion with the Villainous keyword activates, give it a face-down boost card from the top of the encounter deck. When resolving that minion's activation, turn the boost card face up, apply its boost icons to the minion's appropriate power for the activation. If the boost has a boost ability, it resolves discard after effect. So basically it lets a minion do a little bit more main villain stuff. Here's the story. I'm just going to leave it on there for a sec if you want to read that. So what's also neat about this is what they did was the Modular Set Difficulty. So it's going to list all 9 of these, put them in at least what they believe is being the difficult. So from 1 to 9 being the easiest to the hardest. So they're saying for easier difficult, play 1 through 7. So when you're playing the Hood scenario pack, you have to have 7 scenarios added into the game. Whether it's 7 from this set or 7 mixed in from other sets if you want to do that, which is really cool. You got 2 to 8 or 3 to 9. So just depending on what your difficulty level you want. So yeah, rather than being made up of like one big giant deck for this, like some of the other villains are, this one's made up of, and like with only like 2 or 3 scenarios. This is a smaller deck. This is gonna have a bunch of other scenarios. It's gonna be a lot more random. And then here's just some tips on playing or against each one. I'll just kind of hold it there for a sec if you want to pause it and read it. I'm not going to read through all of them because we're going to look at the cards. But there we go. So let's jump in. First of all, let's just look at the Hood himself and see what we're dealing with. So level 1 Hood is a criminal. 1 steam, 1 attack, so not super powerful. But yes, foul play, special. Discard the top card of the encounter deck. That card does not belong to the Hood encounter set. Deal it to yourself as a face-down encounter card. So whenever this happens, yeah, he's going to make you have to... if it's one of the other scenario cards, you're going to end up taking a face-down encounter card. His level 2, he gains 1 extra steam. Still has a foul play, except now it's 2 cards from the top of your deck, or from the top of the encounter deck. Deal the first card, discard this way that does not belong to the Hood to yourself as the encounter card. So you still only get 1 card, but you have to discard 2, so it's more of a chance of you getting 1. And also the fact is you're killing the encounter deck quicker, which is never a good thing. Revealed when choosing. Choose 1 set-aside modular encounter set at random and shuffle it into the encounter deck. So this actually makes the Hood even more of a pain in the ass, because before you're playing with 7, and then once you play him, you actually play an 8th one. So if you're starting off the game, you're starting with 8. If you're playing 2-player, or if this is the second one that comes out, you'll add 1 later on, but if you're starting with him, you get 1 right away. Because then Hood version 3 has another steam and another attack. Plus he has that 1 revealed ability again. So again, if you're playing set 2, like harder difficulty of version 2 and version 3, you'd be adding all 9 scenarios into this at one point, which is part of the reason why they have 9. Follow play does the same thing. Discard 2, put them in there. But then this one says deal each card, discard this way does not belong to the Hood. So the first one's 1 card. If it doesn't, you get it. The second one is discard 2. You get the first one. This one just discard 2, and then you can get both. So it just increasingly becomes more of a pain in the ass. We have making connections, which is the main scheme. When revealed, each player must resolve the Hood's follow play ability in player order. So that means you have to discard a bunch of stuff. And you can see, like, around this table, he has all these different villains. Just to set up with Hood 1 and 2 or 2 and 3. Choose 7 modular sets. Choose one of those sets at random and then shuffle it into the counters. So choose 7 modular counter sets and set them aside. You may choose randomly. Choose one of the random sets and shuffle it into the encounter deck. So wait a minute. Is that saying that you don't actually start with all 7 in there? You start with 1. And then its other abilities add 2 and 3. That actually makes them seem a lot easier. I thought you had all 7 in right away. Interesting. I guess I didn't even notice that. Let's look at step 2. Promise prosperity. So it needs to be choose one set-aside modular encounter at random, shuffle it into the encounter deck, place one accelerated token. So interesting. I thought you initially just started with all 7. All 7 in your deck, but you don't. You actually only start with 1, and then you can gain more as the set goes on. You gain 2 more from, or 1 more from this, so I bring it up to 3, or 2, and then you can gain 3 from playing the other one. Yeah, because here, like, even in the instructions, it just says, yeah, you have to select 7 or at random, but it doesn't tell you, like, oh, that you're not putting them all in the deck. So the rulebook doesn't even really tell you that. So that's kind of interesting, because I haven't really read all these cards, I guess. So when revealed, each player must resolve the Hood's Follow Play ability, the player order. For each player who has not dealt at least 1 face-down counter, place 2 threats here. And then he has a third one, so I'm guessing it's going to add more encounters. So choose one set-aside modular encounter at random, machine shuffle into the encounter deck. Place 1 acceleration token on the mains. Each player must resolve. Okay, so that's kind of neat. Is that you start off with the Hood in one scenario. So his deck is going to be fairly small. So his follow play ability, every time it activates, isn't going to be too terribly bad right off the bat. But you're going to cycle through your deck fairly quick to get that acceleration, because there's only 1 modular. And then once you get the main scheme number 2, you add a second deck module in there. And once you get to 3, you add a third one. So then typically you're only playing with 3, and then once you get to Hood level 2, you're playing with 4. So you generally only have, at least with these cards, with the Scheme and the Villain, you only have 4 scenarios, of them 7. If you're playing with level 2 and 3, you'd have 5, because you'd start with 1 right away, and when you get to level 3, you'd add another one. So that actually makes this a little bit more interesting, because now it's even more random. Because you're going to pick 7, and then you're going to have to add random ones in there, and the game's going to actually progressively get harder. Alright, so let's look at the rest of his cards. We have an attachment called Establish Dominance. Attach your identity. Force response. After the Hood activates against you, resolve follow play. Alter ego action. Exhaust your identity and place 2 threats on the main scheme to discard this card. And as we were just saying, that follow play ability is, it's like, oh, that's not terrible, except it's going to be, because it's discard the top card of the encounter deck. If it does not belong to the Hood, deal with it face down. So probably early on, because there's going to be a lot more Hood cards than there are other scenarios, especially depending on which scenarios you have. Because some have like 7 to 9 cards, some have 4. Depending on which one you pick, you're going to probably burn through that deck fairly quick, just constantly having to keep discarding. Especially when you get to like level 2 or 3, we have to discard 2 cards each. And then the other stuff where it starts adding the extra, when you add the extra scenarios in there, the extra encounters, and then you're adding more acceleration tokens. So it's going to be constantly burning through that deck really quickly, which is not a good thing at all. Alright, we got the Hood's Mantle, which is an attachment. Armor attached to the Hood. Hood gains. The Hood gains Retaliate 1 and Steady. And then as a hero action, you can spend energy, strength, and genius resources to discard this card. He gets 2 copies of the Hood's pistols. You usually see him running around with a pistol in each hand. Weapon attached to the Hood, 1 steam, 1 attack. Spend genius and strength to discard it or boost, reveal this card. That's going to happen a lot. He's got a signature minion here, Madam Mask. 1 steam, 2 attack criminal. She's also a master of evil. which might play later in some other sets. I don't think there's too much. There's other Masters of Evil so far, but nothing that like really worked with them. Guard, when revealed. Resolve the Hood's Follow playability. When defeated, the defeated player must resolve the Hood's Follow playability. Look how many times you have to keep activating that follow play ability. We have a side scheme, Unbridled Ambition, with Hinder 2. So when revealed, place 2 per person threat here. Force Interrupt. When the villain phase begins, each player must resolve the Hood's Ball playability in player order. Yeah, so if you have 4 players in every turn, like when this card's out, you have to also go 4 cards into the deck, or if he's on version 2, you have to go 8 cards into the deck. You're gonna start running out of them cards really quick. And it's gonna keep upping the acceleration tokens. We have Field Recruitment. So when revealed, choose one set-aside modular encounter at random and shuffle it into the deck. Resolve the Hood's Ball Plague. Remove this card from the game. Boost, after activation resolves, activate Hood's Ball Plague. So here you can add another one. So we were at 4 for the standard mode, which allows us to up it to 5 encounters. And if you're playing the harder one with level 2 and 3, the like expert version or harder version, you could now have 6, I think, up to 6 of these 7 encounters. So definitely crazy. You can actually get most of them in there. And then we have 3 copies of Upper Hand, which is the last set of cards for him. For the Hood's deck, he has 16 cards in his deck. So Upper Hand, when revealed, Alter Ego schemes. Resolve the Hood's Ball play. When revealed as a hero, when he attacks, resolve the fall play ability. Yeah, and if you have 16 cards in his deck and you add, in your first encounter you add from the main thing, and he only has 4, which maybe you're thinking, oh, if I add only 4 cards, it's not much else I have to deal with. That's only 4 extra cards you're going through. That's 20 cards that you're going to have to deal with. And then you're going to, if you have 4 players with 20 cards and you're drawing a card at like every turn for his ability, you're going to go through his deck in 5 turns. Not to mention that during every turn you still have to draw an encounter. So it's going to be even less than that. So this actually seems like you need to crank out this guy really quick. Which actually makes this more exciting to me than the initial thought, where I thought it was just, oh, you just play file 7 in there, you just have a big deck of mixed up stuff. The fact is you gotta constantly rotate and add different stuff. Plus playing them, like drawing a bunch of them and like having them face down, or have like maybe like randomizer cards or something would be kind of neat. Just that way you don't know if you're that way you don't look at a stack and be like, oh crap, we better add the 7 card stack or the 4 card stack or whatever. Alright, so here's scenario, or encounter 1, the Beastie Boys. Beast Mode, side scheme. The only good superhero is a dead one, Griffin. Force Interrupt, when a stunned or confused regular character will take any amount of damage, increase that damage by 1. So then we have one of the Beastie Boys, which is Griffin. 1 scheme, 3 attack with a star. Brute, a Masters of Evil. Quick Strike, Force Response. After Griffin attacks and damages a character, stun that character. When defeated, if there's a stun-friendly character in play, shuffle him into the encounter deck. So his ability, he's going to try and stun you, and if he does, and if he's defeated, he has a chance at coming back. Plus it works well with his other ability. The other one we have is the Mantle, a 2/2 Brute and Crossfire's Crew. Mantle gains Retaliate X, where X is equal to the number of confused characters enemy or friendly in play. When revealed, confuse each character you control. And then they have Double Trouble. When revealed, stun character you control, confuse a character you control, boost Resolve this when revealed abilities. So this guy's like adds in extra confusion and stuns, which really can slow the game down. Alright, our second scenario or encounter is the Brothers Grimm. This is also what's pretty unique about this set, which I think is kind of cool, because it's a great way to introduce like these B and C villains. We thought I'm gonna try and figure out how to incorporate them into like maybe a bigger campaign or something. So it's kind of odd here. Instead of the Brothers Grimm, it's only one card. Kind of neat if they had two of them. So you had two Brothers Grimm at the same time, but that's alright. So one Steam, one Attack. Masters of Evil and Mystic. Not a lot of enemies have Mystic. Force Interrupt. When Brothers Grimm activates against you, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until an attachment is discarded. Reveal that card. Boost. After this activation ends, put the Brothers Grimm into play, engage with the first player. So then they're going to have some attachments, of course. Blackbird Pellets. Attach to a Mystic minion if you cannot attach to the villain. Force Response. After attached enemy activates against you, discard this card. Discard one card at random from your hand and deal yourself one face down encounter. So another way that they're going to help keep burning through that encounter deck. Another attachment, Corrosive Egg Bombs. Item attached to Mystic Minion if not attached to villain. Force Response. After attached enemy activates against you, discard this card, take 3 indirect damage, and deal yourself one face down counter. Another attachment, Paralytic Stardust, attached to Mystic, if not attached to villain. Force Response. After attached enemy activates against you, discard this card, stun your identity, and deal one face down encounter. And Unbreakable Thread attachment, attached to minion, if not attached to the villain. Force Response. After attached enemy activates against you, discard this card. Choose and discard one ally, support, or upgrade you control, and give yourself one face down counter. So all of them, like, they come out, they do one thing, and then they go away, but they leave you with another face down counter, so they kind of replace themselves. Again, it also makes this neat is because now you're getting like odd extra characters like Griffin and Mantle and Brothers Grimm. Is here you're getting a bunch of attachments. So like there's some other sets that could really use some attachments. So here you're gonna get a bunch of them. So it's actually kind of cool as well. All right, our next set is Crossfire's Crew. So Out for Blood Side Steam. When revealed, deal 1 damage to a friendly character to fewest remaining hit points. If that character is defeated this way, repeat this effect. And then you also have to draw 1 extra encounter card. Boost. When resolving this card, resolve this card's when revealed ability. Yeah, 1 damage isn't much, but if it's hitting every turn, well, it hits once, and it just sits there. But if it happens you defeat a guy because maybe you have a minion that you kind of let sit at one point because you can like, I'll wait until I can use him later, then it's going to activate a second time. So let's see who we have for some minions here. We have the Controller, 2 Steam, 1 Attack, Brute, and Crossfire's Crew. Force Interrupt. When a controller's attack would deal any amount of damage to a character, increase that amount by that character's attack. Oh boy, that could really hurt some of them guys. Here we have the Corruptor. 1 Steam, 2 Attack, Criminal, Crossfire's Crew. When revealed, exhaust each ally you control. Place 1 threat on the main Steam for each ally exhausted this way. Boost, choose an exhausted character you control. Well, that's actually kind of neat. I don't even know if I've seen that too many times or often. It has the boost icon and the threat icon. It probably happens a lot. I just don't usually pay attention to icons too much. I'm used to just seeing the threat icons. And not the boost ones as well, like combined. Here we have Crossfire. The leader of Crossfire's crew is also a Masters of Evil. 2 steam to attack, quick strike. Force interrupt. When Crossfire attacks, he attacks the friendly character, confuse remaining hit points. That attack gains overkill and ranged. Oh boy. Good sniper. We have Mr. Fear, Criminal, Crossfire's crew, 1 steam, 1 attack. As an additional cost for the engaged player to ready a hero or ally, they control that player must spend a genius resource. Ooh boy. Boost, discard cards from the top of your deck until you discard an ally. And then we have 1 Treachery to go with this. So I think we've had, I think Crossfire, yeah, he was Hawkeye's nemesis. We get to play him again. That's the other thing that's kind of nice about things like this. Some of these sets is I like when the nemesis is specifically for a character or a hero gets put into something else. You can play them against them separately. Or even when the actual villain itself is made into a smaller scenario. Just because that way you can play them in any modes. So I know like Loki was Thor's nemesis, and then in the one box set now he's a villain. That's just kind of neat. But then also like they have Enchantress as like in that set's a scenario, but then she's actually going to be a nemesis in Valkyrie's deck. It's just kind of neat that way you get option to play them without only having to play that character. Chakot and Crossfire. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the entire deck until a Crossfire crew minion is discarded. Reveal that minion. Take indirect damage equal to the number of Crossfire crew minions in play. Oh, that could hurt too. I mean, there's what's also neat is because so like we also have like the Mantle, who's also a Crossfire's crew, so that works with that as well. That's where you're getting these cards that have like also Masters of Evil, and some of these other subtypes is our additional type. They're gonna work with certain other ones better than other ones. Alright, our next one up is we have the Mr. Hyde set. So self-experimentation, side steam. When revealed, search the encounter deck for Mr. Hyde, reveal him, and shuffle. At least you're not going to like discard to find him, you just gotta search for it. Force interrupt. When a brute enemy would take any amount of damage, remove that much threat from this steam instead. And there are a lot of brute enemies. So who are our minions? We're going to start with Kelvin Zabo. 3 steam, 1 attack. Elite, Masters of Evil. When revealed, if Mr. Hyde is in play, discard this card. Mr. Hyde attack gains +2. That attack gains overkill. When defeated, search the encounter deck and discard pile for Mr. Hyde and put him into play. Engage that player who is engaged with Kelvin Zabo. So the whole thing with this is Kelvin Zabo, or I keep saying Zebo, but Zabo is he is Mr. Hyde. He transforms into it. So that's why when he's defeated, it's basically, oh, you defeated me, I'm going to become my alter ego, Mr. Hyde, just sort of like his Hulk version. And that's why the first one says, if Mr. Hyde's already in play, you're just boosting him up. So then we have Mr. Hyde here, who has the opposite, 1 steam and 3 attack, but he has a massive 10 health, brute, elite, and a Masters of Evil. When revealed, if Kelvin Zabo is engaged with a player, discard him. Mr. Hyde engages that player, give Mr. Hyde a tough status card, and deal 1 damage to each hero and ally in play. So if you draw him, he just immediately comes out and replaces him. And then we have the Hyde formula. When revealed, if Kelvin Zabo is in play, he steams with +3 steams. Gives him 6 steaming. But then he takes 4 damage, which defeats him. Because, yeah, he only has 4 health, so he steams for 6. That defeats him, and then you get to put Mr. Hyde into play. If Mr. High is in play, give him a tough status card and he attacks you, even if you are in alter ego form. If neither is in play, this card gains Surge. Oh boy. So that could be a interesting little, it's almost like a little mini villain himself, rather than just a minion. Alright, up next is we actually have something a little bit different. So we have Ransacked Armory. So like we're saying, we need more attachments, so they threw in a bunch of attachment sets. This is actually cool because it's not linked to a character. You can just throw something, hey, we have more weapons. Works great with Crossbones. He likes to have weapons. So, Flamethrower does +3 attack, tech weapon attached to the minion with the most remaining hit points. If you cannot, search the encounter deck and discard power for a minion, put it into play engaged with you, attach this card to it. Attached minions attack deal indirect damage. So basically, if you attach it to someone, if not, find someone and attach it to them. We have a Hollow Shield Generator, item tech. Attach to the minion with the most remaining hit points. If you cannot, search your deck. Attach minion gets +4 hit points and gains Retaliate 2. We have a Jetpack, an item tech. Attach to the minion with the most remaining hit points. If you cannot, this card gains Surge. Force Interrupt. When attached minion would take any amount of damage from attack, discard the top card of the encounter deck. Reduce the damage from the attack by the number of boost icons discarded this way. That's kind of neat. So a little evasion. We have 2 copies of Tech Gauntlets, which is an attachment item, tech weapon. Attached minion the most remaining hit points. Cannot gain Surge. Attached minion gets 3 hit points. They also gain 1 attack. And attached minion attacks gain Overkill. And then finally, we have 2 copies of the Armored Guard, who's a mercenary. 0 steaming, 1 attack. Guard will minion engages you cannot attack the villain. And toughness enters as a tough status card. So it's not super powerful. Another nice little minion to have to fight against. Alright. Then now we have the Sinister Syndicate. Crime Pays side scheme. When revealed, search the encounter deck for a criminal minion. And you've seen a lot of the other guys also had criminals, so it works really well that way. Put it into play, engage with you, shuffle. If no minion was put into play, this card gains Surge. Alright, so what criminals are we hiring? We have the Beetle. And this is the newer Beetle, who's a female. I don't remember her name or story or anything off the top of my head. But it's not the Abe Jenkins Beetle, which is the original Beetle who became like Mach 5 and stuff. 1 steam, 2 attack. Criminal Force Response. After Beetle attacks and damages you, discard the lowest cost upgrade you control. Boost. Choose and discard an upgrade you control. We have Boomerang, which is kind of funny because his belt has the Thunderbolt symbol. So it's kind of interesting that they used artwork that had the Thunderbolt symbol on it. As he was trying to go good for a while. So 2 steam, 1 attack, criminal, plus a Masters of Evil. Force Response. After Boomerang attacks, you deal 1 damage to each ally you control. Or boost, deal 2 damage to an ally you control. We have the Shocker. 1 steam, 2 attack, criminal, Masters of Evil. Force Response. After Shocker's attack, stun the attacking character, or boost, stun the character you control at the highest attack. Speed Demon. 1 steam, 2 attack, just a criminal. Force Interrupt. When a character attacks Speed Demon attacks that character, resolve his attack first. Boost, discard the lowest cost support you control. White Rabbit. Fairly newer character, I believe. 2 steam, 2 attack, criminal. Force Interrupt. When White Rabbit attacks, you attacks you, discard one card at random from your hand. Ugh, the at random part sucks. Just discarding would be bad, but random sucks. Boost, choose and discard one identity-specific card from your hand. So that sucks too, because that even limits less of what you have, but at least it's not random, so you can choose. And the final card in this, this little encounter is Sinister Onslaught. When revealed, each criminal enemy in play steams. If no enemies steam this way, this card gains Surge. If you're a hero, each criminal attacks you. If no enemies attack this way, it gains Surge. So basically, if it's not getting used, it's going to gain Surge. Alright, now we're going to have some other stuff here. We have the State of Emergency. So you have a Feisty Heist. This is a side scheme. When revealed, discard the highest cost card from your hand, and it has Accelerate. We also get the Disaster at the Dock side scheme. When revealed, take 3 indirect damage. Also has Accelerate. We have Offshore Inferno. When revealed, discard the lowest card cost you control, and Accelerate. Hot Pursuit. When revealed, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a minion is discarded. Put that minion in play and engage with you. So 4 extra side schemes is actually kind of cool. It's an add in any deck just to add some more of them side schemes. There's a couple villains that gain bonuses from having extra side schemes, so this would help them out. Plus, it's just neat. Like, because there's not a lot. I don't think there's any side schemes in the hood. There hasn't been too many in the rest of these. There's been a couple. And then we also have 2 copies of Citywide Crisis, which is a Treachery. It says, when revealed, resolve each when reveal ability on each side scheme in play. If no when reveal abilities resolve this way, place 2 threats on each scheme. Boost. When revealed, resolve boost when revealed. So that's kind of neat, because then it triggers not only any of those 4, but any other when revealed side schemes. So, like, we have Crime Pays, it could activate that one. I mean, most of these have one. Kelvin Zebo's, Mr. Hyde's has one. There's one with Crossfire's crew. So, I mean, there's a couple here and there. Yeah, so there's like 3 of them so far. But yeah, and there's, plus it'll work with, you can mix and match with other sets, so to do that. This is a really fun one. So this is Streets of Mayhem. These are environments, which are location settings. So rather than being like a side scheme or a minion or anything like that, they basically come into play and they sit there and they give bonuses out. So you play it, it has Surge. So as soon as you play it, you have to play another one. When revealed, discard each other's setting, environment, and play. So you can only have one setting in play. Each character in play gains 1 attack. We have the Secret Lair. When revealed, discard each other's setting. Each enemy in play gains 1 acceleration icon, which, oh, that could really suck. Each hero and ally gets +1 thwart. So it kind of helps both sides, but Sewer Tunnels. Each player in play gains Retaliate 1. And the final one we have is Warehouse District. Each character in play gains Steady. So they have to have 2 of the same type to be stunned or confused. So it's kind of neat that it works for everyone. But yeah, it could definitely change up how stuff in the game is being played. Alright, so the last of the main encounters is the Wrecking Crew. So I said, we had these guys in a previous scenario, so it's kind of neat that now we can throw them in any other deck. So we have Top Talent. The Wrecking Crew is on a rampage using their magically powered muscles to cause chaos and destruction. Hinder 2 per player. The villain and each elite minion gains Retaliate 1. And there's a lot of elite minions in this set. Plus, these guys are all brutes, so they work terribly with that Mr. Hyde card. It helps brutes out. Wrecker, Villainous. Meaning activates, he gains a boost card. While the Wrecker is attacking, he gains +2 attack if the attack is undefended. So he normally has 2 attack, but it can jump up to 4 if you decide not to block it. Bulldozer, 1 steam and 3 attack. Villainous plus Bulldozer's attacks gain overkill. Pile Driver, 2 steam, 2 attack, brute and elite. I'm kind of surprised they don't have the Wrecking Crew as a keyword. Oh well. Retaliate 1 and Villainous. And then Thunderball, 3 steam, 1 attack. Villainous, force response after Thunderball attacks, you deal 1 damage to each character you control. And then they have some Treachery cards. When revealed, each elite minion in play activates against the players engaged with. If no minion is activated, gains Surge boost. For each elite minion in play, this card gains +1 boost icon for this activation. Oh boy, that could really suck. And then Magic Muscles. When revealed, give each brute enemy in play a tough status card. If no tough status card was given, discard cards from the top of the encounter deck until a brute minion is discarded and reveal that minion. And again, this is another one of them cards that will help burn through that the deck really quick. Alright, so the last 2 things we have to go through are standard set number 2. So if you want to replace your regular standard, you can play it with this. So for expert mode only, it says, formidable foe, permanent setup. Each player gains steady, or each enemy gains steady, and it has an accelerate icon. So that'll definitely make the game harder. Dark Dealings, we have 2 copies of that. So when revealed, the villain steams with +1 steam, and boost, give the villain 1 additional boost card this activation. We have Mob Mentality. When revealed, Alter Ego, discard the top 7 cards of the encounter deck. Put the first minion discard this way into play engaged with you, or if you're the hero, the villain in each minion engaged with you attacks you, and this card gains Surge. Overwhelming Force, when revealed, discard the highest cost upgrade or support you control. If no card is discarded, gain Surge. Or a boost, give the villain 1 additional boost card. Then, of course, we have Shadows of the Past, which is the same exact one from the standard. When revealed, reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion, put it into play, engage with you. Reveal the set-aside Nemesis Steam and put it into play. Shuffle the rest of the Nemesis encounter set into the encounter deck. If your Nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, it gains Surge. Yeah, so the kind of other thing you could do then is, now that if you bought this, you really wanted to, you could actually put, if you really wanted to play around with your rules, combine these 2, and now there'd be 2 Shadows of the Past. So you have more, you and your teammates, or whoever you're playing with, would have a higher potential of drawing that more often, because you would have 2 in the deck versus just 1. Because like, we draw it once, you're like, okay, that sucks, but now you know you have the rest of the deck to go. Well, here you might draw a second one then. Total Annihilation, 2 copies of this. Surge, when revealed as a hero, the villain attacks you, that hero gains overkill. Booster, the villain is attacking, this attack gains overkill. Alright, then we got 1 left. We have the Expert 2, there's not as many in there. Cruel Intentions, Peril, and Surge. As a reminder, Peril is an ability that means only you can deal with it. Other allies can't help you, other players. When revealed, deal each player 1 face down counter card, give the villain 1 face down boost card. Boost, deal yourself 1 face down encounter. We have Ruination. Look at this, there's 4 icons down here. That's crazy. Incite 1 and Peril. When revealed, discard card from the top of the encounter deck until a side steam is discarded. Reveal that steam, place 2 threat on the side steam in play. And I think Incite 1 puts a steam token on the main deck, or the main steam, I believe. I can't remember for sure. Seek and Destroy, Incite 1, Peril. When revealed, search the encounter deck, discard pile, and set aside area for your nemesis minion. Put it into play engaged with you. Oh boy. And finally, we have Sludge It Out. Peril and Surge. When revealed, exhaust your identity. Take 2 damage. Boost. Deal 1 damage to each character you control. Give the villain 1 additional boost card for this activation. Alright, so that was the Hood scenario pack. Definitely unique and different, because it starts off really light with 1, maybe 2 encounter sets in there, depending on which mode you're playing. Just starting with Hood level 1 or Hood level 2. And that's going to slowly gain like 4 or 5 more. And the fact is, you can either use these guys, mix and match from all the other different sets out there, because like every base set has at least 5 or 6 different more encounters. Every big box, so you're gonna have plenty of different options to do here. So that is definitely cool. Plus, it gives more. I don't hope that they keep doing a ton of these. Like, again, like this is our 4th encounter, our 4th scenario deck. Yeah, so maybe every 4 do another one that's similar to this. We have a bunch of different characters and different stuff. Because like now we're getting into, we've done Avengers, we've done Guardians, now we're starting into the Spider-Man universe. So it'd be kind of neat to maybe get one like this with a bunch of Spider-Man, more Spider-Man themed characters, like the Sinister Six. Like just straight up that. He has so many like Maximum Carnage characters, different stuff like that. And we have the Sinister Six box set coming out, but as an encounter set would be kind of neat. But yeah, he has so many different ones. And eventually they're going to get to like Fantastic Four and X-Men. X-Men have so many little tiny teams, it might be neat to have them as encounter sets as well. Alright, that's what I got. See you guys later. Bye.